Well, it's a thoroughly entertaining game. A tale of two penalties. Timo Pukki with the first. Probably could have had another penalty in the game perhaps as well. Norwich City got themselves in front. Brilliant penalty by Pukki. And then Samuel for QPR levelling things up late on. And quite honestly, it feels like 2 points dropped for Norwich, but quite easily could have been 3. Right at the end, QPR should have taken the lead, but Barden made a great save as well. As young lads coming in, making a couple of really important saves, one with his knees and then grabbing the ball, and the other one flicking over the top of the bar. But it does feel a bit disappointing to only come away with a point from that game when, to be fair, the first half was fairly even. The second half, Norwich absolutely dominating, got themselves in front. But when there's only 1-0, there's always a chance for the opposition to come back into it. And Emi Buendia not looking particularly happy, and rightly so. And Todd Cantwell again looking pretty aggrieved that what he feels should have been another 3 points for Norwich instead of the 1. And I think that's probably a fair assumption of the game. Norwich doing enough, particularly in that second half, Rob, to win this game. Fairly even the first half, wasn't it? You know, you'd say QPR looked a threat.
Yeah.
At second half, Norwich blew them away for 40 minutes. 40-so minutes, got the penalty, got themselves in front. But then when it's only 1-0, there's always an opportunity the opposition can grab a goal, and they did.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Norwich were excellent for the first 35 minutes of the second half. You mean the pressing they were doing, you mean out of possession, they were pressing really high up the pitch, and they were getting chances. You mean the keeper of QPR made some good saves from close range. Offside goal from Todd Cantwell could have been inches. You mean we never had the benefit of all the angles and whatever like, but it did look as though Todd Cantwell was just a touch ahead of Pukki. But it was fine margins. It was fine margins, and like I said, we got the penalty, we got the win under our belts, and then I think the QPR was a penalty. I think Zimmerman lent on him, but what we were saying up here, because obviously we got a good vantage point. First of all, it was Sorensen holding on the ball, driving in field, and we're saying pass it into Cantwell, who's right on the left wing. Play it in the space. Play it in the space. He doesn't. He loses possession. Vrancic doesn't win the tackle. He's got to win the tackle. Two elementary areas have given possession back to QPR, and then in one pass and Zimmerman's give the penalty away. Good penalty, but like you said, 1 point nearly became no points because Samuel should have scored. You know what I mean? He's like a yard out, and like you said, it's harder. If you say to him, listen, can you hit it over the bar from that close? You can say, well, no, there's no way I can do it. But he did. And fortunate for Norwich that they got a point in the end.
I mean, do they look at that from this game then? Do they look at that and think, we're pleased we got a point from this? Or do they look at it and think, we should have had the 3, surely? Yeah. Because as much as you got a point and they could have scored at the end, Norwich dominated that game. You look on the stats, I'm sure the stats will show us at some point. Look, Norwich completely dominated that game, but you can't expect to win games or cruise through games in this league, and you only get 1-0 up. There's always a chance. Particularly, they were expansive in the first half, QPR. Yeah. Second half, they didn't have much, but they always had that outlet, and that was that long ball again, clipped into the corner for Samuel to run onto, and then Zimmerman probably doesn't need to lean against him, and I think he's always looking for the penalty. Zimmerman's driving him away from goal, probably doesn't need to lean on him and make the challenge, but they're the fine margins.
Absolutely, and like you say, Norwich was so dominant for that first 30 minutes of the second half, and QPR probably they took like some positives from that because they defended so deep and they thought, well, Norwich is not going to score here, and then all of a sudden they give a penalty away, and you think all the hard work we've done for 30 minutes sort of like should have sucked the life out of them, and that's where Norwich should have gone on then and capitalised on the majority of the possession. Or worst scenario, they win 1-0 because it was sort of like a gift, even though they fully deserved to win the game, Norwich. But QPR got the belief they didn't concede, and then, like I say, then they got the gift of a penalty as well because they were never going to score because sort of like the confidence had gone, but because Norwich give them a gift, so like it give them a little bit of impetus. In the last 5 minutes, it was sort of like an open game, and it was almost a joy to see really QPR like not sitting back and saying we're taking one. I mean they were sort of like counter-attacking, and it was like a really good proper boxing match in the last 5 minutes of the game. But like I say, QPR will probably be happy with a draw, more than happy with a draw. Norwich won't. Norwich will be unhappy they've not won that game. But it's a positive result. It's a positive result throughout what's gone on in the first half of the season. They are still top of the table. So with the negatives of not winning that game, take the positives of being top of the league. by 3-4 points.
Yeah, let's hear from Rob Eagle now. Rob, you've watched that second half there, and you're probably like us in the studio thinking that's a game Norwich probably should have won, and quite comfortably could have had 2 or 3 goals in that second half. But that's the danger, isn't it? You go 1-0 up, there's always a chance the opposition can score that sucker punch, and they hit Norwich. But Norwich will be disappointed, right, not to have the 3 points.
Yeah, there was 20 minutes there where there was just wave and wave after attack, and in that 20 minutes you've got to score a goal. If you don't score, then this is what happens. They have to score. They were on top for a good amount of time. They've just got to score.
Would you put it down to good defending by QPR? Then the keeper's made some good saves, so you have to give QPR credit for the way they played, particularly first half, and they hung on the second half, and they're probably going to feel like they deserve the point from that, right?
Yeah, well, they had a chance right at the end. He's missed from 3 yards. That could have been 3 points for him, really. I think defensively QPR played really, really well, and they countered really well. I know Norwich had a lot of possession, but QPR sat in, soaked it all up, and hit them at the right times really, and countered really well.
And luckily games are coming thick and fast for Norwich at the moment, as they are for all teams. So is it one of those games you're right, on to the next one, forget about this one, let's get on to Barnsley at the weekend and make sure they get the 3 points there?
Yeah, I think they've just got to keep going game by game. The Watford game, tonight was improvement from the Watford game. I felt like that second half there, their runs going forward were more aggressive, and their final balls, they had to make that pass because the run was, aggressive enough for them to play it, and that's why they were on top for a good amount of time. But that's gone now. Now you've got to, games coming quick. You've got to, just move on to the next game. And
you've been involved in games like that before, where you batter teams and you come out of it at the end. And actually, I don't think Norwich players will go away too disappointed from it. Of course, they'll be disappointed they didn't get the 3 points. But in terms of performance, that's probably the best I've seen them play, particularly the first half, and particularly that 30-minute spell of the second half. They just couldn't get that breakthrough in terms of goals. Yeah, sometimes that just happens. You're on top, large amount of the game, and you just keep doing what you've been told to do. That last 20, 30 minutes, their passes forward, exactly what we said at half time, they went on to do, and, created a lot of chances. But yeah, it's just one of them. You're going to have to just take it on the chin and just, keep going, because on another day that could have been, 3-4-1. And that's Daniel Farke's job now, isn't it? To go into the change rooms and say to the boys, look, we're disappointed we haven't got the 3 points, but we're still top of the table. We're still ahead of those other teams below us in terms of points. Let's take the positives from the game and not just think about the 3 points. Yeah, he'll be disappointed that he hasn't taken 3 points, but from the Watford game, I feel like it's a massive improvement. I feel like that second half, there were a lot of the midfielders and attacking players were making those forward runs aggressively. They weren't just not really doing it, just running there for the sake of it. They were running there aggressively for them to pass them the ball through, for them to cross the ball. So yeah, I think he'll just kind of have to pat him on the back, say well done, and just forget about it and move on to the next game. Absolutely. Look, thanks for joining us tonight, mate. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Yeah, see you soon. Did you think that there was a bit of that today, particularly the second half, as Eagles said there was a different feel about Norwich in that second half, particularly for the first half an hour. They seemed to have a bit more intent with them. Maybe the two midfielders or Vrancic was pushing up a bit further. I think Buendia and Campbell felt themselves a bit closer to Pukki rather than being sort of deeper, do you think? Yeah, it was. You mean whether it's something that Daniel said at half time, let's press them high up the pitch, let's press them in numbers. And that's certainly what Norwich did for the first 20, 25 minutes of the second half. And every time a QPR cleared the ball, it went to a Zimmerman or a Hanley who were 5-10 yards in the QPR half. So it was intense pressure. It was intense pressure, but give credit to QPR. They withstood that, and give credit to Norwich because they changed their game and they did press and they did it at a great tempo. They had some good chances. Keeper made some good saves as well. Unlucky with the offside, maybe or maybe not. And like I say, but it was one of them, a goal wasn't going to come in open play. So when you get given a penalty, that was a penalty. Todd Cantwell did really well driving into the box. It was a penalty.
that was the moment we were saying, right, okay, listen, we're not going to score for whatever reason. The goalkeeper's making some good saves. We're not firing. We're not hitting the back of the net in open play. So we've got the penalty. We've scored the penalty. We're 1-0 up. Let's go. We've used a lot of energy over the first 30 minutes of this half. So for the last 15 minutes, let's just sit back. Let's just take it. And like I say, let's defend. Let's defend in numbers. Make the right decisions on the ball. And for their penalty, I don't think we don't think Sorensen made the right decision on the ball, and we think Vranic should have won the tackle. 2 mistakes, 2 elementary mistakes really, has cost Norwich 2 points.
Yeah, they're the fine margins. And let's hear from Ollie Stone now. Ollie, are you disappointed with just the 1 point out of that? I think we feel like we are.
Yeah, obviously with the going 1-0 up and the amount of chances we had to not capitalise and get that second to kill the game. When you saw how dangerous QPR could be, it's obviously disappointing to come away with just a point against a side who haven't really been in great form. And
you look at Norwich at the moment, then there's another penalty again tonight, and I think there's quite a few penalties they've scored so far this season already. They're not free flowing from open play, are they, at the moment, Norwich? But they're getting games won and getting points done, and that's the important thing. Is that you look at the table, you try and take 2 points a game throughout the season, and they're just above that at the moment. So it's not all bad for Norwich, is it? As much as they would have won tonight and they should have won tonight, it's all still really positive.
It is, and like you say, when we probably haven't played our best football over the last few games, that we've come away with results, and unfortunately tonight the result wasn't a win, but still, like I say, still got a point and still another point closer to getting promoted. And fingers crossed, hopefully when it clicks maybe a little bit more and we play more consistent football, that those points will turn into wins, and before you know it, we won't be talking about this game, it will be about what's coming up.
And in terms of trying to use cricket as an analogy with this as well, then you don't have draws, do you? How can a 5-day test end in a draw?
Well, yeah, you wouldn't think that would happen, but sometimes it does. But yeah, like you said, it is a strange one, and like I say, putting in the hard work to then end in a draw can be strange at times, and frustrating. I guess how Norwich are feeling tonight.
And looking forward for Norwich the rest of this season, Ollie, have you been impressed the way they've played this season? There seems to be a bit of a, Rob and I have talked about it before, there seems to be a bit more of a resilience about them this season, defensively.
Yeah, there is, and I think Skip's been brilliant in front of the back four to help break up play, and they just seem to have a togetherness, and I think it obviously helps. Unfortunately, we lost Godfrey and Lewis, but we've kept a good core behind there, and thankfully not too many have picked up niggles. So to play week in, week out with each other, I think you create that atmosphere, and it can only help going forward.
Ollie, look, thanks for joining us, mate. Enjoy the tour. I hope you bring home. What do they? You're not playing for the Ashes or anything, are you? I don't know my cricket. So were you playing for Sri Lanka? Is it just the tour? Is it just
win, Ollie?
Trophy, I don't know. Yeah, the Ashes will be this time next year. So fingers crossed we can bring it home then.
All right, mate. Well, have a good time. And Rob says he looks forward to taking some money off you at golf this time, not cricket. Yeah, one of those ones. All right, mate. Thanks for joining us. Take care, mate.
Yes.
All right, so looking forward to the rest of the season now. Norwich have got themselves into a position where you're virtually halfway through the season now, and you're looking at the points accumulated. It's decent for Norwich, isn't it?
Yeah.
Daniel Farke in the change rooms now, I think, will be saying to his team, do you know what, you've done everything you can tonight.
Yeah.
You should have won that game. You should have won the game. Let's take the confidence out and straight on to the next one, because the games just keep coming and coming. It's Barnsley again. Yeah,
absolutely. Barnsley have had a good away win tonight as well. So, I mean, that's not going to be easy, but I think it will be easier than like a QPR, because I thought QPR did well tonight. He'll be happy. If you said to him at the start of the season, a draw against QPR on the 29th of December will keep us 4 points clear, 5 points clear, whatever we are, would you take it all day long? And that's what you've got to do. You've got to keep positive. You've got nearly a fully fit squad now. Goalkeeper might be an issue on Saturday.
But
hopefully Tim Krul's coming back, so
yeah.
that might be a good thing. So, but Barden's had 45 minutes today, the experience. If it was a full game, would you be confident? you'd be nerve-wracking because he is just a young lad and whatever like. But hopefully Tim Krul will be fit enough, because I don't think McGovern will. Yeah. But they're in a good place. Norwich are in a good place. Top of the league. The new year, brilliant. Everything to look forward to. A fully fit squad, apart from 2 or 3.
Yeah, mentioning the top of the league, we can take a look at the table now, and it is brilliant reading for Norwich, as you said, 5 points clear. I mean, that's a good place to be, isn't it? And you know, we look at the table, and I think we've virtually played everybody in this league now. And it's, you know, looking at the league, Rob, is there anything in this league that should be frightening Norwich? I look at Norwich's squad. I can't see anybody else in the rest of the league that has as strong, in-depth squad as Norwich have shown this season.
No, man for man, you mean Norwich have got the best. For me, Norwich have got the best man for man in every position. And like you say, you look at that, there's good 5 teams below them, good solid teams below them. But being 5 points clear, okay, Swansea have got a game in hand, they win that, it becomes 2 points. But they've got to win that game, and it's not easy. Like, a lot of teams are playing a lot of games every 2 or 3 days, and that will continue. You know what I mean, for the next 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 months. Basically, they won't be playing with crowds. We've always said if you don't play with crowds, the best team with the best players win the game normally. And Norwich have done that for the first half of the season. And
do you think there is something to be said for those teams that have dropped out of the Premier League? You know, they're virtually up at the top of the table again. You know, Bournemouth thereabouts, Watford aren't far off as well. It doesn't seem like you know, all 3 of those teams have actually done that drop pretty well compared to teams before, where they seem to kind of fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah, absolutely. And probably those teams, when we say do crowds make a difference, they probably do. Would Bournemouth and like Watford and Norwich be at the top? Hopefully Norwich would, but they're good players, and they've kept the core of their teams. They've come down from the Premiership. No one got really wiped away in the Premiership. They were very unlucky at the end. Okay, they were the worst 3, so they get relegated. But they come down to a Championship that we don't think is the strongest, but it's no real surprise that Norwich, Bournemouth and Watford are in them top 5 positions. And you can fully see those 3 fighting out for the 2 top ones at the end of the season, because I believe they have got the best players in their squads. And if fans don't become part of the game, I think that will continue. The momentum will be the same over the second half of the season.
Fantastic, as always, Rob. Nice positive stuff. That's what I like to hear. But it's all down to the team who've done so well and deserve to be where they are. We're back here on Saturday against Barnsley. We'll be on air at 2:30 for a 3 p.m. kickoff. We'll see you then.